Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mike's Indie Corner. Now, what indie game are we going to take a look at today? I'm glad you asked, rhetorical audience. Today we're going to look at a very, I don't want to say popular, but very well acclaimed game that came out a couple years ago called Gone Home. Now, for those who don't know what Gone Home is, then you clearly weren't paying attention to any of the, I don't want to say controversy, you clearly weren't paying attention to the indie game circuit back a couple years ago, because back then everyone was talking about this one. Well, it's one of those things that's hard to talk about without talking about spoilers, and this is one of those games where it's very, very important that you go in as cold as possible. So really, if you haven't played this game yet and you want to check it out, you should probably stop watching now and just go watch it now. Play the game. But for those who have or don't care, keep watching. I'm still not gonna discuss spoilers, but I do want to talk about why this game is so freaking good and why you should play it or play it again if you haven't already. Because actually, in preparation for this video, this is one of those games where it's also kind of the reason why I started the series, is because I want to talk about this one. But it's so simple, and yet there's so much depth to it. Not so much in gameplay, because in reality it's really not much of a game in the traditional sense. I mean, what it is, again, without giving away any spoilers, the basic premise is you play a woman named Katie who comes home to her parents' house to find nobody there, and your task from there is basically to explore the house, basically pick up every knick-knack in sight, and just kind of learn the story of this family and just kind of what happened. Now, don't get wrong, it's not a horror game, surprisingly. Honestly, when I first played this, I thought it was a horror game, so I kept expecting something spooky heavy, but it never did, and I'm glad it's not, because I feel like that would have really just ruined the experience for what, well, of course it would have, but never mind, I'm rambling. I mean, there is a main storyline, I guess you could say, with Katie's sister, and again, I'm not going to give any of that away, because that is like the hook of the story, the hook of the game, and it is a beautiful story. It is very teenagey, very kind of high school-esque, but at the same time, the voice actress, I don't know who did the voice of this character, but it is so sincere and so heartfelt that it is really, really hard not to get invested in the story, and you want to know how it ends. And it's also touching on the subject matter. It's a topic that's explored more nowadays in video games. I mean, Dragon Age 3 in particular tackled this subject matter, and actually Dragon Age 3 tackled a lot of subject matter. I was surprised it did. But it does tackle a very sensitive and controversial subject matter, and it does so beautifully and with such an authenticity.
Dear Katie, I'm sorry I can't be there to see you. I'm just sorry. But please, whatever you might find, don't tell Mom and Dad. I don't want them to know. I don't want anyone to know.
The game is almost purely an emotional experience, and that's why it works. That it knows what it's trying to do. It knows the story it wants to tell, and it's the way it delivers it, even though it's through narration mostly, is still very, very effective. And that effectiveness and sincerity carries you all the way through the game. Like I said, the game itself is very, very basic gameplay-wise. You go around the house, you just click buttons, you go upstairs, you go downstairs, look at maps, blah, blah, blah. You basically just explore the house. There's no, action or main sequences. It's just you try to basically uncover the story of this family. And that's another great thing about this game, too, is the subtext. The use of subtext in this game is fantastic. Like I said, there is a main story, quote-unquote, about Katie's sister, but everyone else's story, that everyone else in this family's story is still told, but it's not told directly. It's told by just kind of paying attention to all the stuff that's laying around the house. Like, you get, like, everyone has their own complex story. Everyone has a reason for being who they are, and none of it is directly told to you. It's up to the audience to figure it out, and I love games that do that. There's so much subtext to this game, and it's so cleverly laid out that you could very easily go through the entire game, the first run, and miss almost all of it. But if you're like me and you have a feel need to pick up and look at every nook and cranny in the game, you'll, like, really uncover this very, I don't want to say tragic, because, I don't know, tragic's probably a bit of an extensive word, but very, I guess, troubled and just kind of sad family dynamic. And it's very fascinating to see. You got to put these pieces together, and really makes it fascinating. It really makes you invested in the experience. And it also kind of justifies why this is a interactive experience rather than, say, like a movie or something like that. Because a story told like this probably wouldn't work if it was like a movie or a short film or something like that. It works because you are directly uncovering the answers yourself. You are making those choices, and it feels more genuine, or maybe not genuine. I'm not sure if genuine is the right word, but very much more personal. There you go. That's personal, and you're kind of looking at finding all this on your own, rather than like a movie that would tell you or show you things in the background. That's when you're looking for it and you're finding it yourself. And it works. It really works. And this is like a subgenre of adventure games that's been cropping up a lot lately, and I'll probably talk about a few other entries too, because I'm honestly kind of a fan of this little subgenre. I know a lot of people complain that it's not really a game, and it's valid. I mean, this kind of thing isn't for you. You're not gonna get invested. For me, I'm a big story guy, so I don't need much gameplay as long as it has a good story and I'm invested. Because I think this started with Dear Esther was, I think, the first one to do it, and then I don't know which one came. I think this one came next. I don't know for sure. And I know there's another one that I'll probably talk about in a future episode called, fuck, what's it called? It's called, I have it on my desktop. It's The Mystery of Something. Oh, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. That was the one. And I like the direction of just simple story-based games that can tell such a poignant, emotional story without getting bogged down by overly convoluted gameplay mechanics. So yeah, that's really as much as I can say about it without giving away spoilers. So I think it's probably good. Should I stop right there? So yeah, if you have not played this game and you want to check it out, you definitely should. It's probably really cheap nowadays, so you have no excuse not to check it out. Also doesn't require high-res, the graphics are pretty basic, so it doesn't require like high-res graphics and anything like that. You can play with pretty much anything. So yeah, if you haven't checked this out, I've heard a while back they're making an Xbox port. I don't know if that's still true, but hey, you know, if it works, it works. So anyway, yeah, I'd say definitely check this out. If I still haven't decided if I'm doing scores yet, but if I had to give it a score, I would say like probably a 9 out of 10. You know. It's a good, simple game. You can beat in like 4 hours. Oops. And, yeah, but I guess the game could use a bit of something to do if I was being really nitpicky. But the experience is at least worth doing once, and I highly recommend it. So, that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.